then it's gonna be 75 on Thursday. I mean, it's
And rain though on Thursday.
craziest weather.
It is.
My kids had, granddaughter had track practice. They got sunburned in Tennessee.
At least it didn't get blown away. It looks like Arkansas. Boy, they got hit hard.
Terrible storms.
Crazy destruction. It is.
Let's see what that is.
Now that doesn't look like Switzerland.
No, that was a Bora Bora or something.
Yeah, it's not, oh, they did the palm trees in Switzerland in one place, I think.
Let's try this again. This is 514. That's the problem.
I'll give you these now, I'll drag it up.
No.
These are the,
Oh, thank
fund
you.
balances, the, program expenses, and I think, I'll keep one sheet for now. Oh, good.
No, I don't think we're projecting tonight.
I didn't even hear you.
So much
Stealth.
fun. All right, doesn't look like we're projecting tonight.
You'll
so-
have to do, charades.
Oh, yeah.
I think the children's room has little felt,
The flannel board thing.
yeah.
We'll do Pictionary.
I did story time yesterday, so I'm all warmed up. I did. Yes, I filled in and went back to some old roots. So much for that.
Yes. I have them, they're so many components. Those are from, oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I have them, I printed them, okay. Oh, yes, that's it. So they went in end of March, right? So we're 9 months into the year, right? Yeah, 9 months. Okay.
Yes, yeah.
Should be 67%. Yeah, well, 67%, okay.
We're good, yeah.
We're good.
We're a little bit
Okay.
under bottom line, which is good.
Okay, we're doing good. Oh, he didn't want us to, okay. Good.
How are you?
Good, good. On time tonight, too.
Pass that down.
Huh?
Me?
Me, no, last
Oh,
time.
that's right. I thought you were saying me.
No,
I'm
no,
like, I know,
last
I'm
time
usually a
it was
little late.
7:30, and I just got it.
Look at that, 3 minutes to spare.
I know, right? Always feels like I'm trying to squeeze so much into every minute, but
Double circulation.
uh-oh.
Well, we had her spayed the other day, so. Yeah, she's, yes.
Oh, congratulations, that's awesome. Good for you for being up for that.
It's like having a baby.
I know. I think my husband just let me have another after these two.
No, she's doing, we're starting school on Saturday.
Maybe she'll be able to teach me a thing or two after.
She's just her own person, her own job.
Live like that.
She's charcoal.
Ooh, that's beautiful.
She is beautiful. She's not like, but you know,
Same
sick.
temperament.
maybe not.
That's
Was your first
our
bear?
name.
Was your last one? Is it
No.
bear?
Maya,
What's the dog's name, Maya?
Emma,
Or one prime.
Emma.
our new one.
That's our May. May has yeah. She's gotten to, once you teach, once you give them an inch, they take that. Just like your kids. Right?
But yeah,
Madeline started letting her on her bed when she's not feeling good, which we previously would not allow.
Right.
Now she's like up on the couch, up anything she can get up on. Free pass, right?
Yeah, but when I took her in the other day, she was 59 pounds.
She is big, isn't she?
Yes, she's 6 months old.
I was
Can you
gonna, it
imagine?
seemed like from
I know.
3 months to now, I'm like, is that the same dog?
You look at pictures where she was this big and now she's.
Yeah, when I first met her, she was that big.
That's all those flowers she's eating.
Yeah, she's eating all my crocuses. She goes out. Her first stop is to grab a crocus.
Oh, my goodness.
Like, these are new. These weren't here before.
How pretty.
dogs know every language in the world. Right?
Particularly likes the purple ones. The white ones.
Oh,
she's
how
like,
interesting.
Yeah.
Do dogs see in color? I don't know.
Oh, they don't say anything?
I don't think so.
Maybe some,
I
You
read
definitely
something.
can see
maybe
though,
some do.
Yeah.
Oh,
because my dog barks at the TV. There's an animal on it. She doesn't know there's an animal, people on.
Musical cars at my house, so.
Oh,
I always ask Kyle on board, and so like, did you drive or are you waiting for mom?
No, he was coming in hot, cause I left work early with no one knowing, I just like snuck out of there. And then I was like, how am I getting to the library? He's not in my car. So, yeah. But then I pick up that I can't see over the, like I can't see over, I'm like, how did they drive this thing? And I'm 5'9". I don't understand.
Hey, everybody coming, or you know?
Craig is not going to be here tonight.
Like that? Okay, so we can start, huh? Kevin, we don't know, right? No, no, okay. Okay. We can, oh, I have the agenda here someplace. Oh,
Did you hear from Kevin or
I
no?
did not.
Seven o'clock, right? Okay.
He went to the Final Four, so.
How exciting.
Yeah.
some of us were up till midnight.
Yes.
watching.
Yeah.
I was as well.
Oh,
I could not go to sleep after that.
I know, me neither.
All wired up.
Anybody,
He
any
was
public,
traveling home
no
today, but
public
I didn't know
comment,
he was
right?
gonna make it.
No public
No public
comment.
comment. Seven, we actually started at 7 o'clock?
I gotcha.
Okay, everybody got a copy of the minutes or read the minutes from? This from February to March, let's see, from March, yes. Comments, corrections on the minutes? I have a motion to approve the minutes then.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Aye.
Any-
Are you supposed to say that?
No comments and corrections, all those in favor?
Aye.
Minutes have been approved.
Sorry.
Oh, okay. Correspondence.
Yes, I have a card from Brian's Angels Homeless Outreach, who was our charity during the holiday season, and we collected 2 SUV loads full of donations for them, and the staff did a team building activity where we made bag lunches for them. This is Burlington Public Library. On behalf of Brian's Angels Homeless Outreach, the clients and the volunteers would like to thank you so much for your generosity. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts. It's people like you, it's people like yourselves, excuse me, who make this world a better place. Sincerely, Pat Stebbins. And I did hear back from the probation officer regarding the incident that happened in the bathroom. They sent me a victim statement report to fill out, have notarized, which I did. Scott from Public Works, he put together all the paperwork with the damage and photos and receipts. The grand total for all of that was over $10,000. I think I have it in my bill. Oh, $10,463.50. So I did send that back. I don't have anything to show for that because I had to send it all back to them. But I did hear back from the probation officer who's been assigned to our case, and it is in receipt of the court.
So this correspondence was from the probation officer?
It was from, yeah,
The probation officer, is it Burlington have one or is it Bristol?
it's neither. It's from the state of Connecticut juvenile court system. So
Any word on the remediation from the family of the?
nothing. So as of right now, I sent my impact statement in, and that's the last I've heard of it. I feel like it's a slow process. I do think that if we don't get a response soon, the town will file a claim through the insurance, and the insurance company will go after them. But right now, it's not quite at that stage yet. So
And then just to be clear though, it will not be library funds that are impacted, or it will, or?
it would go through the insurance. So I'm
Okay.
not sure how that would affect our rates or anything like that. But it wouldn't come out of my
Library
capital or
budget.
nothing like
Okay.
that. No,
Okay.
it hasn't come out now, even as
Great.
of yet. So.
Okay.
I'm gonna assume the town has a fund, a separate fund, because anybody could have damages that have nothing to do with what they do.
The insurance rates will most likely go up.
Okay,
That was it for correspondence.
that's it. Friends of the library. I can do part of it.
Well, we did have a meeting last month, and this month's meeting is next week, so there's nothing new for me, except we had a book sale in Sandy.
Right, I deposited $1,902 yesterday, and there's another $1,902, and there's another $540 minus the fees that we'll be receiving in the next couple of weeks
From the credit card.
on credit card or swipe, whatever it is. So the book sale is very, so far this year, book sales have been $2,613. And our budget so far this year, we're up $2,162 over last year. And we've taken in $7,473. So we're doing, and yet that's only with 21 donors, because we haven't done our campaign yet.
Yeah.
So,
Some of that is coming from the front store area too, right?
well,
So
some
you
of that,
keep changing over.
well, some of that came from the ARPA funds, the program money we spent for COVID. So
No, I meant the income, like you're still getting pretty good income from the sales that are current, like, how what do you call that, the kiosk? I don't know what you call
It's
that.
called the lobby book sale.
lobby
Yeah,
book
oh,
sale.
yes, I have that separate. We've taken in,
The stuff in there has been so good.
It's been really good.
It's been really hard to
Yeah.
pass off.
$711 upstairs.
Yep.
This year?
Just
This
this
year.
year, yeah.
I
Oh,
believe it,
wow.
and it's only,
Yes, $711.
every time I look, great,
Yeah, they've got some really good
And,
stuff.
and the difference is,
we're in good shape.
this year and last year, I get $100 and $50 bills.
Yes.
We never used to,
Yes.
used to be this twice and twice and
Oh.
fives. They're just getting bigger. And so,
Next meeting on 11?
Yes.
so yeah, $711. I keep track of that stuff, so we know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And people, when you come in, you know, seems to be somebody always there buying books. And what the library staff, they kill after me, you gotta take the money. They hate to have the money lying there.
Oh, yeah.
Which is good.
Judy, what are the caskets?
So Trish Hart, she's a resident. She's also a librarian in Farmington. She periodically puts together baskets and donates them to the library and allows us to use them as prizes, raffles, anything that we want for anything we want to do with them. So I passed them on to Mary to see if they would sell during the book sale, and I don't think any did, so we'll just leave them on the shelf and see.
It would be nice.
To have a description.
Yeah, because
Like
Yeah,
what's in it?
I'm not
It's a little
like,
wrapped
because
up,
the,
yeah.
the wraps, you
It's-
can't see
yeah.
through.
I'll have to see if we can unwrap it or if it's like tied really tightly shut. I'll take a look because she puts them together and I'm not really
She
sure
did
what's in
that
them.
for the Tavern
She
Fair.
did. We had a
And
couple of
they were so
baskets. They were,
cute.
I mean,
Yeah.
made a good little amount of money for that too.
Yeah.
So
And I
she's so sweet to do that.
I
Absolutely.
just filed the sales tax yesterday for the $711 for the state. So that's why I know the amount. We don't pay sales tax on books at all. That's one thing that I'm always exempt. People say, any questions about the budget? But the budget looks,
So do you have plans for all this money you're rolling around in?
yes, we do. We have an expense category.
Ah, okay.
Programs, books, materials. We have like $9,000 that we received in previous years for funds. In fact, we're one of them.
Well, yeah.
Whatever, we buy the things that people say, I want audiobooks, I would like tapes, audiobooks, and we keep track of it. You know, so, some people want programs, we have a program fund. We're obligated to keep up, Jody is very good and very good in keeping track of that. They tell me when the money comes out of different funds and write them down. So anybody asks, we need money, we keep track of it.
Mhm.
We're obligated to, but we do, we like doing it. We're doing okay. Any questions on the budget? Okay, next is library lane sign.
So I reached out to Sign Source and Right Way Signs. Right Way Signs has already done some signs in town. They're the preferred vendor for the town of Burlington. And I only heard back from them. They both came out and took measurements and spoke with me and took photos and checked it out, but only Right Way Signs got back to me. I have two options, one with a roof on the sign, that's what they're calling it, that little peaked part, and one without. For both signs, they did a hanging part, but they recommended instead of the hours, which I know we talked about, putting the website instead, because the hours are like three lines long on our website, so it's a lot to like as you're driving by. So that's what they recommended. If we do a flat roof, the estimate is about $1,654 for the sign, and then another $245 for the little hanging part. If we go with the peak part, she can't guarantee until they come out and actually start to like disassemble the posts and everything. But she estimated it's going to be another $3,000 if we want that piece. So I've got both options I'll pass around. And she added a pop of green, so it ties in with the signs around town. And I thought it looked really nice. It really stands out. So
it's about 3,000 more for the roof.
it'll
and
be
the peak?
another $3,000 just for that peak part. Yeah.
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 That looks nicer.
It
is.
It's so like Burlington looking.
Right, yeah.
It's just, it goes with the like downtown-y.
In all honesty, 11,000 had been set aside this year for the digital sign, so it's not killing us if we decide on the roof. But
Too bad about the hours though. Do you think they just didn't want to do it? That's why
no,
they
she
were
would have
quoted?
done whatever. I think she
Okay.
mocked it up, and it is. If you look at the website, it's 3 lines I think on there.
One of the-
Well,
Sure, it's still advocate
You
for the
have-
hours.
What about your
I don't
prices?
think I don't think the website being posted does us anything.
No,
So I really think the hours are really more pertinent.
Yep.
Even if it's a little longer.
Even
Even
like
if
when
you
I drive by, I'm like, is it open?
Yeah.
Right, and I'm not gonna use the website.
Yeah.
Like, I should know the hours by now, but is it
What
open?
is your prices?
It's say 3,000. I'm just giving a rough estimate, about 3,000 for a flat sign, and possibly 6,000 or more if we add the roof on.
If they think going across the bottom is too, like, doesn't look good going this way, so if you went this way, it's longer, would it make sense to maybe do like an arm off the side of it, so it's more of a, like this size sign that has the hours listed?
I
Yeah,
can
an
ask.
option.
It won't hang. It'll just be off the side, but
But it wouldn't hang off the side, it would be like an L-shaped thing where it would hang.
okay.
Oh, I've seen that.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
I think at
so-
Sessions they have
Yeah,
that, right?
So
To
like,
like
so
show
it
a
so it would be
program.
so it would be a bracket to the
Yeah.
side that
Yeah,
would hang.
yeah, I think
You
it's like an arm.
Yeah,
just
Sessions
read that
has
too,
it.
so-
Yeah, I definitely.
Going by just reading the whatever special.
It's
Yeah.
more similar to ours as well.
And
But yeah, I mean, I mean, I don't think that we can't do it down here, but if they feel like it's an odd shape or too big, then maybe just something up the side, I don't know. I think down below should work okay, even if you did, what does it say on the website, how many?
I think somebody else in town that might have that besides Sessions, but Sessions is like a little square, right? The little light, I think the website
What are you gonna
doesn't,
do with it?
like you could just type in Burlington Library.
Mhm,
like, comes
pop
up in
up,
Google.
yeah.
So I mean, it's not,
I don't think
it's pretty,
needed.
but the
Yeah.
hours, I
Okay.
think,
I like the green though.
I like the
the green
green.
is nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very nice.
Okay.
Yeah, there's different-
And is it the roof that is what you all prefer?
I like
It-
that,
it is
yeah.
nice.
I like the peak roof.
It's got-
Amazing that
it's
it
got
was
that colonial
3,000
feel.
more though.
I know, it feels like just more, like you said, in line with the aesthetic of the logos and everything.
Comments, anybody want to take a vote on that? Right, take a vote on that?
I think it's unanimous.
well, I think
on
we
the
need
roof.
to
You gotta
come back,
have a
right?
mock
Yeah, I think we gotta get a mock
Yeah.
up of the two.
Which are we in favor of? Roof?
The roof,
Yeah,
yeah.
with the
the
roof.
peak-
Roof
peak
no
roof.
wet.
Roof.
No way.
Hopefully they can get me all that by May and that way we can take advantage of that capital that's set aside for a sign this year, so.
If we don't get the order in by the end of May, is it gone?
By the end of June,
You said May.
well, hopefully for our next meeting, so we
Oh,
can
oh,
see, but if it's not in by the end of June, I'll have to talk to Doug about that, so that
You
was.
can always email us. I feel like that's an easy email.
I'll have to check because someone else had said that you can't have a discussion if it's over email,
Yeah, no, you
so I don't think that's, yeah.
No, anything that's discussed formally has to be done.
Yeah.
In public meeting.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
Like a
yeah.
Zoom.
Even.
And
Well,
if
it
you
would
have
have to be
quorum,
posted.
Yeah,
I'd have to
and
like
technically
post.
on the agenda.
it would
we're
be
not
a
supposed to- we're not
special-
supposed to discuss things that aren't on the agenda either.
So it would be, we could do a special meeting and I could put in for that, but I have to see how many days we need in advance for a special meeting.
That said, it's
So
not a special
who was
meeting if
for
you don't have a
efficiency?
quorum. So
right,
it's
it
like,
has to
you know,
still be.
four of us could just be like, oh.
Oh,
we
no,
have
it
to
would,
do
no,
that.
absolutely, yeah.
But yeah, if you have a quorum, then it's a special meeting.
That's a percentage of us, right?
Yeah, it's if you can have a majority vote, that is a quorum. So if you've got
More than
eight people, you need to have 5, and that's a quorum. Yes.
So the hours, you want the 3 lines where it says Monday through Thursday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m., Friday, Saturday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m., closed Saturday, July and August, and on both sides of the sign.
So here's an idea. What if you put, the closed Saturday, July and August? What if that hangs off the side?
And not the hours?
And the hours below.
Oh, I don't know, that's
Too
kind of
much.
confusing if hours are here, but then different hours are there. I don't know.
The other thing with having the thing sticking out, obviously, it's something that Craig's mentioned a few times, is the issues with the traffic.
Yes, and
And
the
how
sight
far the
line.
sign can stick out.
I guess unless you do it on the other side, the
Yeah,
left
that
of
it's
it.
a little harder to see than as
No,
you're driving by them.
definitely.
I think
But-
aesthetically it looks better underneath if they can do it.
It did, absolutely, but I was just saying, since Craig's not here, that's something that he knows a lot about, is.
That's true, I
that-
can't
that
go
issue.
What
out
if we did a
more.
double?
Yeah.
Right here was the closed Saturday and Sunday. In July, August.
And you only hung it out in the summer?
There you go.
I was wondering, could we do
Do that?
Hang it out in the sun, so have a
Just
double
like that.
side.
So like a-
Okay.
So this is our normal, right?
Yep.
And then have a little like July, August one, because it's a lot, right?
Okay.
And then it's only up there.
And you only need
Well,
it-
and
it's
and
only
that's
up
the
there when
thing, is
you
like,
need it.
you don't
Yeah,
even
that's-
need to say July and August, then you just need to hang it in July.
Oh,
and
there you
August.
go.
Just
Very
fill
good.
in Saturdays.
There we go.
Yeah, then you're not- you're not
Wait, I don't
confused.
understand, so in July and August,
Remain
just put close, yeah,
Closed
So-
Saturday.
So,
right,
yeah,
but it's
essentially,
still,
you have something like this, so you've got your main sign, and then you've got the small hanger.
Can I borrow this?
yes, yeah, I was writing my notes.
So like this small hanger has the permanent hours right here.
No, I
And
understand,
then
and
below
then,
that, there's other hooks.
yes.
And then in July and August, you have another thing that says closed Saturday.
Right, no, I understand that, I'm
But
just,
take off
yeah.
the July,
Take-
August to make it.
Exactly, yeah, because we just hang that portion during July and August.
Yeah.
I don't know, I mean,
Is
I think
there-
it has to be up at least in June too, so people are aware that the hours.
But is there a reason why we can't put the hours on the actual sign itself?
Oh, I think because we were.
Okay, did they
first
change?
by-
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
That we like the hanging.
Yep, yeah, I get that, yeah.
Because of the hours change, we
It
said we wouldn't have to.
makes
get
sense.
whole
You'd have to
signs
get all the
made.
sign,
I
yes.
remember we talked about
Yeah,
that.
Right, so without, with the two of them, you wouldn't get confused.
Yeah, having the hanging part, that's much easier to swap out and change.
Okay, I will get back to her tomorrow.
It doesn't give them new business either. But I mean, it sounds like they're gonna make a beautiful sign, so let's get what we
Yes.
want, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that said, we could just have two different hangers entirely, where one of them's for summer and one of them's not. And
Change it.
yeah, instead of having the
Two,
one
yeah.
permanent and then an extra, we could just
There we
have
go.
just two completely separate ones.
Yeah, that you change out.
And that might be less confusing, because then it would say, like, instead of saying, open Saturday, Sunday, but then close Saturday, Sunday, it just says, because it's July and August, close Saturday, Sunday. And that's it. Just have to remember to swap it
I mean,
out.
it's two signs, so either way. So
Yeah.
It probably looks better just to have one hanging
And that's what I mean.
without like hooks on the bottom.
Easier to see.
The only thing I wonder is how difficult or easy is it gonna be to change
I
it?
think it'll be fine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're typically just little hooks that
And you
that
just,
go on.
yeah, okay.
You don't have to worry about snow tire.
And here's
You don't
the
think that would look
vandals.
strange though to just have in the summer, Monday through Thursday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. and then underneath it Friday, 10 to 5, and just have it be a standalone day like that?
That's
And
fine.
then it would say closed Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah.
Why would,
I don't know, just it looks.
why would Friday not be on the regular sign?
It would be. I'm just wondering, does it look odd
It's
that
its
it's like a
own-
sign,
it's its
standalone
own line item.
line, or no?
Right? Because it's.
I mean, you could put a semicolon between them.
Signs for one, something
to
for, yeah.
make it-
Okay, I'll have her give me a couple of options and
One other
Type it up.
suggestion, if we're worried about the timing, it sounds like we love the sign, it's just this part. So can we go forward with this, the big part, and then add the hanger
I
later?
can find out. Yeah,
Just
I can
if we
find
have a
out.
time
And
crunch.
it's just
Yeah,
a
'cause it's
couple of
just,
hooks.
yeah, I can find out.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a couple of hooks, it's not a big deal.
They know the measurements for the main ones.
Right.
So
Okay. One, especially because that's relatively inexpensive, so if it had to come out of building or something.
I
Next
can,
year.
I can make a little
I
hanger.
can't imagine that they can turn this around. with
All right,
options.
here we go.
I don't know that.
I got
think
a
it's a
router with the
medium,
with the
that's
little
the slow
templates for
part.
the
Yeah, yes, and I don't
numbers
know
and
if I'll have
letters.
to go out to bid if it's over a certain amount, I'm gonna have to go out to bid with it and
just need the paint
get two
color.
more quotes, so I'm still waiting on one more quote as it is.
Well, one thing, you could get a bid on the thing.
So we can't move
Yeah.
forward anyways. So the idea is that we need to,
But if I knew what we were doing, at least, then I would be ready to go if that's the company that we're
She has
using, so.
Now just get a bid on the thing that we're gonna add later. It's under, it's a
She
small.
has-
I wouldn't even
Yeah.
need to, that's inexpensive, if we
Yeah.
do the sign separately.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll email her tomorrow and I'll just have her give me a whole bunch of options with everything we talked about and
And we'll vote on
We'll
that
just-
next time.
yeah, go through all the pictures, so, and
what's the threshold for having to go out to 3 quotes?
it's either 3,000 or 5,000, so we'll find out, but if it's getting that peaked roof, it'll definitely.
We don't have to go to the town, right, on the bids? There's a dollar amount, the town has to do 3 bids.
Yes, it's
Yeah,
either 3
do.
or 5, I can't off the top of my head, because I didn't do it for
And
anything,
how
yeah,
much
so.
is it again with the roof? I'm sorry.
With the roof, it goes
About
up to about 6.
So we assume,
Without
so
the
we have to
roof,
assume we need 3, right?
Yeah.
without the roof, it's 1,600.
Expensive roof.
It is an expensive
It
roof,
is.
yeah.
It's nice.
And if Sign Source comes out with something that looks exactly the same or less, do we have to go the right way because it's the preferred?
Well, that's good.
And the roof probably
They
is
think it back
less,
to you.
we probably,
Yeah, think it back
in
to
the
you,
asphalt
yeah.
on it and keeps.
Well, yeah, I
the
was
sign.
about to say they probably have like the architect shingles.
What's that? I'm
So
sorry.
the roof will probably keep the sign better protected too,
Sure.
as opposed to the
Less
water,
longer.
yeah, it'll probably.
Because it's like, got a
Probably
little
add,
lip.
shingles
to
on
it.
top.
So 100 down on
You
that.
could also put lights underneath it to shine onto the sign instead of having the lights come up from the bottom, and that might make it look a little bit better
What
and
is the
easier
town
to
doing for lights? Did you tell us that? And I forgot.
I think it's rigged up,
Oh,
but
Everything
it's
is rigged.
not necessarily.
choice. It's in the sign, you think?
No, it's underneath your spotlights. Yeah. But it's not hooked up to anything coming back to the library. So I don't know what would happen once
That's okay, we're already paying
that
for
gets
other
found
people's
out.
electricity.
So.
I know, I remember.
Yeah, if we could have the roof.
Yeah, whose it was, we're paying for somebody.
Yeah.
Lights to shine down or more directly onto it. Be a lot easier to read.
my whole roof replaced for 7,000.
Yeah,
So
right.
like
I know,
6,000 for
this-
3,000 for that.
That's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah.
Must be a really, really nice room. Like,
Is it heated?
it just,
Have those little
Is there a
squiggly
lock
wire.
so that the snow will melt?
It's built into the.
Dental mowing.
yeah, it's like, does it come with solar on it? Like, seriously.
It might be cool if it was solar light activated.
See that, and
I
that would
would
be
buy
great.
it though, but that's one of the things that they suggested the highway department was if we needed lights and they weren't able to rig the electricity up again. Could always look into something solar, like a strip or something, so.
But like the ones that we're looking at, it has the option, so you don't have to like do this all over again, right? If the town, like if we go with the design, will we know because we've already said or asked them like if it can be solar stripped?
I have not asked them
Oh,
about
okay.
that.
Did
Yeah, I
the
can
town
look that up.
say we do that or?
No, it
or
was just a
just-
conversation I
Oh,
had
okay.
with one of the guys down there. We had suggested that in case they can't rig the electricity up again.
So do we find out if they can rig the electricity once that beautiful sign gets put in? Like, I feel like the town needs to say like, yes, you can get a sign that doesn't have something coming up from the ground, or you should get one that's solar activated, right? Because what if they determine they can't put the light in?
What would,
Where
where does the electricity come from?
Not
We
the
don't
ground.
Don't ask. Don't ask.
Okay,
I would-
Stink
I would
if it
guess-
wasn't lit.
I would guess it's from the congregation.
ARPA grant.
ARPA grant, like-
ARPA grant.
There's a bunch of
ARPA grant.
potatoes underneath the
I
ground.
just wait, I'm waiting for them to say.
Oh,
they
really?
can
So
do
the
it
ARPA
after the
grant
sign gets put in.
was submitted on.
There now?
It is there now,
What's that?
right? We do have lights.
There's
now.
lights, yes.
So they're just gonna do it in the same place, the same
would
lights will
hope.
be used, right?
I don't know if the same lights can be used because I don't know how it's rigged to that sign.
If someone
so.
says at the town, you should make, just suggest the solar thing, I'm wondering if he's trying to say something there. Like read between the lines, I don't know. I hope not.
I don't know if it can safely be turned off and installed if we're not the ones who are controlling the
Yeah.
electricity. That's my
What lights
understanding.
the baseball field?
I don't know.
The full moon.
It's gotta be the same
Oh, they
lights.
bring in lights. They don't have their own lights. They bring them
They have
in.
electricity
They have
for
electricity.
for the,
Yeah.
Concession?
they have
Yeah,
electricity for the concession and for the
and for
scoreboard.
the scoreboard and the
Forgot
speaker
about that.
thingy and all that kind of stuff.
Okay,
Oh,
so-
did he?
So it may be.
I don't know.
So ask him who he
Yeah.
hooked
Well,
up
It was so long ago. It was so long ago. I can't,
Yeah.
that's a really interesting question. I wonder if they get electric bill.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's David.
Eversource.
Dave,
coming to me.
start the trench.
You know, coming from us.
Exactly, exactly.
We're doing the scoreboard, we're doing.
Yeah, they do a budget for that, and that field is being rented,
Nah.
from the
Church,
church, like,
professional,
for like $1.
perpetual.
Yeah.
Yeah. If the church doesn't.
So it might be the church's, I don't know.
Oh,
I
that's
just-
possible. Okay, next, ARPA grant.
Okay, so ARPA grant was submitted on March 23rd, and I went to the Board of Selectmen to present it last Tuesday. They approved it. It now goes on to the Board of Finance at their meeting on April 19th for approval. So the total request was for $20,311.
And it's gonna pay for,
What isn't it going to pay for? It's going to pay for digitizing the history room collection, for a variety of children's programming materials, a new rug for the storytime room, databases for 3 years. So it's like 3 or 4 different databases for 3 years, I figured. Hoopla, Hoopla, I put money in for Overdrive.
Did you end up doing the garden or the chalk walk?
The chalk walk, I don't need to. It's acrylic paint. I looked into how you do that. It's
Easy peasy.
easy. And the garden, I truly think we can probably do that with what we get from the garden club or from Little Spring. I didn't see any need to use that money for that. I think it could be done without. So
Well, we could potentially send it, like either you or somebody else could go and talk to Larson.
sure, yeah.
And see if they'd be willing to help out with the equipment.
Yeah, I didn't feel like it needed to be done. I think we can make that
They
happen.
tell you if it's gonna be the Board of Finance is gonna approve it, or is it gonna go to the town meeting?
Board of Finance has been approving the ARPA
Just the Board of
grants.
Finance,
Yes, yes.
That's good.
So it's going to the next meeting?
That'll be the next meeting on April 19th.
They already have the money.
They have the
They already
money.
have the
They've
money.
already spent some of it. Some departments have already requested it. Yep. So they were all very supportive, and
Yeah, they gave me mine, no questions
Yeah.
asked, you know.
you didn't have to go to a meeting either, so that was good. But yeah, that was it was very productive. So it'll be nice if we can get some of those databases by the end of April for National Library Week, or even if we could just announce it, I'd be happy with that. So,
Is that the last week?
it is, yeah, 23rd or 29th.
Maybe Ann, I'll tell Ann, because she might help to find out what needs to be digitalized first.
Yeah, Scott, the idea is to do the whole collection. So we put in for a photo scanner and also an overhead scanner so we can start doing the oversized maps and documents. So, and we put in for 200 hours of like part-time help to come in and work on the project.
And like external hard drives. Just
And an
save it,
external
or-
hard drive
yeah,
we
okay.
also did, but it will also be saved to the server and to the cloud. So it will be backed up 4 different ways.
Is it be online or?
It'll be online. We are talking about, we started the YouTube channel for here, and then Scott was talking about making like special collections available and rotating them out throughout the year on our website. And he's been creating videos that we can post to
They
YouTube
want people
channels.
won't have to pay for it to use it.
Oh, no, yeah.
Because Ann uses genealogy,
Ancestry, yeah.
and some of it's more expensive than others.
Well, it's not that. It's not anything for, it's just
But it's the
sharing
same-
what ours
Same
is.
thing, it's documenting all the documents in history.
In our history,
In our history,
yeah.
yeah.
But people won't be able to, research a family tree or anything like
Is
that.
it-
But
how searchable is it?
I don't know yet. Right now we just want to get everything digitized to
Yeah.
make sure, that they're actually, one of the other departments that was requesting money is the land use office, and it's because they're worried about fire or flood and they just want to have a digital record of everything.
One
So,
thing's important with the documents is that you wanna, when you cite them, you wanna tell people where they came from.
Yeah.
So you know they're legitimate or just hearsay.
but with land use, it won't be a searchable database. People can request things. So if somebody said, I live on, 34 Library Lane, I'd like to see if you have any pictures of my house in the past, we would be able to search and have it accessible to us. So it would be, rather than going through the cabinets and.
But as far as like searching a document or something like that, that takes a lot more effort.
No, I know, but I'm just wondering if there's a systematic way to add the keywords that you find, like you mentioned an address.
We'll be
34.
tagging them,
Okay.
but it'll be more for our organization,
I see.
not necessarily for it to be something that is interactive
Right.
with people. Well, hopefully down the road. I know Scott wants to make it searchable, so we are looking to have an iPad kiosk where people can put things in, but I think it'll be changed and rotated what's currently on there. So it's something he did for the Colebrook Historical Society. So
Cool, so he's had that.
he's got some experience with it and some ideas on what to do. Yeah. So and that way items would be available even when that room's not open. So not that we don't go in there if somebody needs something, but
Assuming you have it already prepared and nothing you would have to do, can you share with us the proposal that you're sending to the Board of Finance? That has
I
some of
did at the
the-
last meeting. Yes. It was.
Was it part of the attachments to what you sent to us?
We revised it upon your request. I took out ancestry.com and it was the databases we had been talking about for the last few months, Creative Bug, Bookflix.
Could you just send us a digital copy?
Can I? Sure.
That'd be great. I just like, you talk very quickly and I can't capture everything you're saying
Okay.
while I'm taking notes too.
Sure.
So a
Okay.
lot of things don't really sink in when I'm taking notes and I'm doing this, so it's helpful for me to be able to read it.
Okay.
Thanks. As long as you already have it, I don't expect you to prepare something like whatever you're saying, like I don't want you to do extra work.
Nope. I've got it right here. I can share it with you right now.
Thanks.
So that was it for ARPA.
Okay, Region 10 tutoring policy.
So for that, Sandy and I met with Debbie Foley. She is in charge of student services at Region 10. And we let her know some of our concerns about supervision at the library. And she said it's what did she say, more of a job description
Right.
correction.
There's nothing in their job description for maintaining
Right.
students and where they are and what they do.
Interesting.
I'm just, it's not on mine either. I just realized, oh my God, what have I been doing this whole time? Sorry.
One of the tutors is a friend of mine. I used to work with me. And they get good pay for tutoring. They get plus mileage. But to not have any specific responsibilities is kind of,
So are they willing to amend? the
Yes,
policy?
absolutely,
Yes.
and she will share it with us. The superintendent immediately, when I asked if there was a policy, he said no, but I want your input on it. So it was,
So
they were
good.
very receptive. She is going to tighten up the job description. They're now notifying us when we should be expecting a tutoring to start happening with who's coming, the days and times, who's supervising them, which the tutor's name, and how the duration of the assignment. So now we have way more info.
Do you also have a phone contact information?
I have Debbie said her and the secretary of her department, they will be our contacts.
They would be the
Yes.
liaison,
Yeah.
great, so if someone shows up who
Yes,
without.
she said reach out to them. I think Patty is the name of her secretary. And she also said, 'cause I know we had talked about this, there would not be an instance where somebody was being tutored here who had been expelled for any sort of violent behavior, threats to the school, or damage to the school. So she said they wouldn't put their staff in that type of situation. So
What about policy regarding like private tutoring and things like that? Do we have any thoughts about how, like, is there anything that we can do on our side for that? Because I mean, obviously, just like between a family and a private tutor that's not going through the school, that's still potentially something that may be.
Right, because we have a child policy, basically an unattended child policy.
Right.
So if a tutor wasn't supervising a child, but that stops at 12.
Right.
That's not helpful for middle or high school.
Well, also, I had Jody check, the town does not have a policy,
We do
like when they use the auditorium there, they don't have a policy about, other than expect you to clean up.
it's
And
casual.
So
Yeah.
we were hoping that we could rely on the town, town policy, not procedures, but they don't have one.
Yeah.
So we're kind of,
Well, we have a room use policy for the community room that Jody and I wrote.
right, but that's just for use and cleanup.
But there's consequences in there. If you damage stuff, if you don't leave it in good shape, you're not
But
going to be using
that's
it.
for a group though, that's for prior
Okay, but
permission.
we didn't do that for the study rooms because
We don't track the use of the study room.
Right.
So yeah.
And it could just be over by the chess tables,
Yeah.
because I see people getting tutored there all the
Yeah,
time,
that's
so
right.
it would have to be the entire
Yeah.
library.
But what we could do, we could rewrite that policy to include what we'd like to see for people that use it without, coming without, not permission, but just to use it the way we're set up now. We could change that.
So wouldn't that policy though have to really speak to any patron? Because we can't really discriminate or like
Yeah.
like have a subcategory for people who,
And
because, right, I just feel like it'd be it has to be for
Every
all
patron.
patrons.
That's why we're hoping
Yeah.
town had a policy that would cover that, but they don't.
Anything that we do, I think has to be for all patrons and just a general use policy of buildings and responsibility for, do we have anything that covers that? If someone was to come in and purposely damage a computer or a table or a chair they're sitting at,
Jody, didn't you ask other libraries if they had written policies?
because I think it's the only thing we can really do.
No, I asked the town what their policy was on using their.
Why don't you ask
There
other libraries, 'cause we could copy that.
Yep, sure.
The other thing that's interesting with tutoring, with private tutors, is it's a business transaction.
Yes, it is.
And I don't know if we regulate other business transactions here.
Prohibit.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
prohibit, so it's hard because you don't wanna prohibit tutoring, right?
No, but that was the thing with
That's
the
usually
Region
under the
10.
table here though.
Right, but there could be some policy with respect to like logging business transactions or approval or something that may give us more oversight over the tutoring relationships versus casual patrons.
That's why I'm saying if we had another library policy that we could look at.
Yeah, we're not the first one.
What's another public place? The only thing I can think of is a gym, and I don't belong to one, but is that like another public place that would have a building use policy? Like if you damage the equipment, you're responsible for it? Because if the other libraries don't have one.
Yeah, or like a
Wondering.
YMCA if you rent a
You know what I
room
mean?
or something.
But if
Or if you just
Those-
visit.
if those two individuals were here on their own choice
Mhm.
and did exactly the same thing.
Mhm.
So it really is, we wanna, the idea that holding
Yeah.
anyone responsible for the behavior, it just happened to be that they were with a tutor, but really, I mean,
Right.
it could happen,
Two kids
like,
could come in and
two 14-year-olds can be here, right, or
Mhm.
one 14-year-old and do it and not be tutoring, so
Right,
I think it's not really about the fact that they're
It's just
being
like
a
they're in the
tutor,
building,
it's just that
building use,
We don't want to rely on,
general.
right now, we're relying on the state law. They're suing the person that did the damage. But that doesn't,
So are we already covered under some general?
We have a behavior use policy. It's not opening up right now, so I don't see that the link is broken.
We have one already.
We do have a behavior policy. I don't know unfortunately I can't open it right now, but
Is it linked on our-
no.
oh, we could include it in the behavior
I
policy.
know,
it's
it's
just-
just, I know, I feel like it's some sort of broken.
Include a damage section in the behavior policy, which would cover anybody.
I'll pull it for.
Because that's in general, if it's a behavior, generally underneath the umbrella of the whole.
If your behavior results in damage, then we could,
Mm-hmm.
at the minimum, keep you out of the library.
Seek.
see
Oh.
damages.
Yeah,
And what's the other
yeah.
word?
Some of them might.
You banned them from the library, yeah.
We might want to rely on the town chamber. We might want to rely on town council for that.
Okay,
I think we do want to rely on town council for that, to make sure that it's.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
Because it could be a general
Yeah,
public
yeah,
building,
yeah.
like wouldn't they want something like that at the town hall? Right?
Yeah.
They might not be thinking about that. Well, they're going to be when they see that they're gonna have to pay for the.
What?
Right,
I think
right.
it's tell the town, we want that, we want the town council to write a policy
okay.
on behavior.
It's a
and
very
damage.
open
Is
policy.
that what you're getting?
We just assume everybody's going to work.
We were feeling very uninspired. It's okay, we're feeling generous.
Is that one we wrote?
Exactly.
And we're talking
There
legal,
used to be
I think the
one
town council can come up with it.
Okay,
It's
I'll
weird
talk to
because
them
the other
about
ones are
that.
coming up.
It's just that one, I know,
And now
yeah.
the town has a good reason to do that,
Yeah.
because we've got.
We've set the example,
We've got-
so,
Unfortunately.
Yes,
Yeah.
I think with TikTok and the things people are doing because
Oh,
of
that's
TikTok.
good,
and
but yeah, the
that's-
challenges are what
They have the
happens
damage in
with social
schools,
media.
Yeah.
because it's, rather than us coming up with a policy, we're,
Town's paying for it.
that's the problem.
It might be worth looking at what the student handbook says too for Region 10. They must have something if you damage school property or.
But they
something
have a
like
different
that, so.
relationship. They're required to be there, right? Or they're
That's true.
required to.
But people will use their facilities, so I wonder what their, like, you could rent their gym or rent the auditorium, and so
Well,
I'll check with
maybe.
them and see, so.
We shouldn't have to come up with.
They're actually in the process of rewriting all of their policies. She was mentioning that
Oh,
they
yeah.
have
Oh, really?
a new,
Well, they're only doing it because they're getting new counsel,
yes,
not because things happen, but new counsel requires that they do their policy over to cover that, they agree with their legal policies.
using.
Well, I asked them, are they doing it specifically because of this, and she said, no.
No, yeah,
No, that's what I was hoping.
okay.
Is the board of ed?
Right, the Board of Ed has new attorneys for
Do you
the Board
feel
of
comfortable
Ed,
with what
not because of us.
conversation?
Just-
saying that it's gonna happen
Yeah.
for future
We have a board policy Avon committee and they constantly are going through.
Oh, I think
Staff,
that,
you gotta handle
There's
it.
so many
yeah,
policies.
no, I
Right.
made it
They're
very
always
clear,
going
to
through
my
and then
school
they
that
get done
we are
and start
not
over again.
responsible
Oh,
for
and the
supervising.
state-
They
state
agree.
might change
It's
the
just a
laws,
matter of
right.
tightening that
They're
up in
doing
the
this
job
because there's
description.
no
We
attorney.
talked about providing materials too, and she said they're supposed to provide everything. You know, like I said, I have no problem, you know, if you need something, you know, anything like that. But
Right, but
yeah, it was,
So
I know,
she
yeah.
said they're gonna update their policy and
She's going to update the job description. And she said
Job
it was more of a
description.
job
and
description.
she needs to communicate it to the current
Yes,
students,
and she
so
said she would be doing that too.
Yeah.
I
So
feel like that's
the
set
two
and
things
good.
are,
And she kind of acted like, yes, this should have been done before.
she did. She says they run into the problems too when they send them to her office, that they think that it's the people that work in that office who are supervising, and it's not, they're not doing that. So she said the job description would be tightened up to reflect that they are responsible for supervision regardless of what building they're in, and that they are responsible for providing the materials that the student will need. So, yeah.
So if I understood the situation that came about with this, the boys asked to go to the men's room. So what happens now? Are they timing them? If they don't come back in 10
Well, they're
minutes?
just mentoring
No,
them.
I would hope that they'd be keeping an eye on
Keep an eye,
the
yeah.
situation, you know, and
Yeah.
she agreed to that. She, you know, said, yeah, that you shouldn't be letting them go for half an hour is an alarming amount of time to
Right,
have your
like you
student
wanna
gone.
Call the
They-
ambulance.
they-
Yeah.
They can't do that in school either. If they go out of the room for, you know, even with permission, they
Now
have to
they have an app,
right? You go looking for them.
electronic pass now.
Oh, they do?
Yeah.
Isn't that
Took
funny?
them forever. I'm
Wow.
pro for it,
But,
obviously. So my kids can go to the bathroom without favors taking over. So
Yeah.
they're still taking over the
You
bathroom.
keep track of them, but how long they're going.
But they're blocking kids from going because there's a lot of like,
Yeah, okay,
not
that's,
to get off.
that's a good time to do it over. Okay,
The public comment policy, I reached out to the town clerk's office. She said that each board can create their own policy for what they'd like to do for public comment. She said that the Board of Selectmen follow a 3-minute limit. You have to state your name and your address. You, they now have public comment at the start, and they've also added it to the end. And that the Board of Selectmen do not respond to the comment until everyone's had a chance to speak. So if you wanted to model it off of that, 3 minutes, time limit. Some boards will limit public comment to 15 minutes, and once that time has passed, no one else can come up. So I don't think we're going to run into that problem, but,
if
you
you can
know.
copy the towns, you don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, copy the towns.
I would like to add, I always thought that that was kind of stifling, the 3
The 3
minutes.
minutes, okay.
So I would like to add, but I also am respectful of people's time. So is there a way we can suggest that written comments can be provided as well, or something?
I think the Board of
Something.
Ed has that in there,
Sure.
doesn't it?
I think those
I
are
don't-
always accepted.
Yeah. I think so,
Okay,
yeah.
or somehow.
They're just not, they're just not read live because then they're no
Right,
longer, yeah.
exactly. Okay, so it is known that written comments can be always accepted, but
Okay.
verbal comments are limited to
I
3
think it's
minutes.
worth putting
So
in
would-
there, but I would think that's understood.
Right?
Would a written comment go under correspondence? If somebody wrote to us
Oh.
tomorrow and said, I have a question about, you know, something that was discussed?
Did they mention how public comment is documented? Is it documented as an attachment to their minutes?
I believe
That's
it's
why they get
in
their
there.
name.
Yeah, so the idea, so in that case, when you submit for public comment, I would think that you are also posting those public comments as part of your minutes.
Yes, I don't think it's a quote. I think it would say, you know, Jody Papazian, 34 Library Lane, spoke about a water fountain at the library. It's not,
Right, right.
it wouldn't be like,
It's like a
So it's
verbi-
like
it's
that.
very brief.
Okay, so just note what they said, but I guess that would be the reason someone might want to put it in writing, I don't know
Yeah.
this, but if you put it in writing, do you have to attach it to the minutes, or just say, just note that Jody submitted, written.
I think so. I don't
comment.
think you have to have. Now, I've seen some places, it doesn't happen at the Board of Selectmen meeting, but people have to go and they sign in and write, you know, and then you have an order to it. I don't know if that helps with, again, we don't really have the chaos of a lot of public comments, but
Yeah,
I
I've been
can-
to the meeting, right, you just give your name and address and.
Yeah.
the
So
comment.
anybody can go to the Board of Selectmen,
and
Yes,
anybody can speak, I believe. It is not
Right.
limited
so you
to.
don't have to like,
no.
warn them that you're
I'm not-
coming or.
Not
Unless it's-
limited to being a resident, is that what you're saying?
I don't believe it's, but again, that's a board's
Only
choice,
if you, if
so.
it's, like we have to go, when we did the town budget, approval of the town budget, you have to approve it. So you have to sign in just like you're voting.
Yeah.
And only town residents can go to the, and vote. And they do take your name and address and sign
They
in.
do,
For the
yeah.
other town meetings, no. Anybody can vote.
So I can type up what she said that they do, and I'll have it for the next meeting to review. And do you want to just stick with public comment at the beginning, or do you want to do what they do in
Well,
the
yeah, why don't we have it at the beginning?
They do both, and I think that's just something new. So if something was discussed, you could ask for
Whenever
put it
anybody,
at the end again.
just do it at the beginning.
Just do it at the beginning. Okay, just do it at the beginning.
And I understand why they want you to say your address, but I don't know, I have to tell you, when I was being interrogated for the role here, and that's what it was, trust me, in a public forum. Oh, me neither. But you had to say your name and address, and that just unnerved me.
And it's
know-
a little public, yeah, and it's I get what
Yeah.
you're saying, yeah.
So we could do
You
the
don't
written,
have to do that,
we
though.
could do the written, because the
Mhm.
thing we don't want is, like, just like, was the one we said about policies and procedures about need to be a Burlington resident?
That's if you're challenging.
Yeah,
the
if you're
material.
challenging the
Yeah, but can anyone, so anyone can speak, you don't have to be a Burlington resident.
That's up to the board, whatever you decide. I'm happy to put in that you have to be a resident or a taxpayer of the town. And we could say, people would write their names down, and then when it comes to public comment, Sandy, you would just say, okay, we're gonna hear from Jody Papazian now, and then they don't, avoids that whole,
I
here's
think
my
there's
ask.
times that we might want somebody that's familiar with that, something that's gonna bother us to come to a meeting. So then you wouldn't have to be a resident to make. a
Well,
comment.
and the other thing
Okay.
too is, how would we confirm that somebody is a resident?
Right.
Yeah, it's just you're
right.
shaking their,
Right.
their word for it.
Right.
That's for, anything.
But that's what I mean, it's like,
Yeah.
it's,
They're not
it doesn't
auditing
make
the
much of a
public.
difference.
They have to identify
They have
themselves.
to identify themselves. Just,
I don't think you're checking in real time, but I think that's why you say your name and address.
Yeah. Do you
If
think
there was
that,
any question, I don't think anyone probably,
no.
there's a question, they could follow up on that, but I think that's probably what you say it,
well,
right?
I think they have it in the town because it could be your particular area of something's happening. And so the town wants to know if they need to do anything about it. And so you give your address, here's what happened in my area, maybe.
You know, I said Debbie Fields, or in Stone Road.
211 Stone Road.
Yeah,
Right.
Stone Road.
Okay, why don't I type something up, and then at the next meeting, we'll take a look, and whatever is decided
Sounds
for omitting or adding, that's easy enough to do.
I'm applying to copy what the town has.
Yeah, I mean, they don't have anything like, but I can, just by what Mary Jane's
Yeah, yeah.
referred to, we don't have to
I
get.
keep my ring doorbell charged.
Yeah. Well, I remember when I was a juror at jury duty, and you had to stand up and say your name, your address. I think I had to say where I was employed. It wasn't some person
Right there. It is a little.
There's Mr. Fenton, do you recognize it?
Yes.
There goes.
I just started
Do you what?
I've been called for me first. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, ready for the director's report?
Can I add something to new business, or are we able to
Yes.
do that?
We didn't do new business yet, right?
I think we're on it now. I
It's
think
on
we're- I didn't put it on the agenda. It was technically ongoing because I hadn't heard back yet. But I did hear back from Sarah McCusker what Canton did with their policy for once a material was challenged and how they're handling it. It was something we had discussed, and what they're doing. Let me just go back to my document here. So the formal complaints are received by the library director, and the library director will look at the item and see if it checks all the boxes for the material selection policy, and then they will turn that over to the board for their ruling. Do you want to follow something like that, or do you want all complaints to just go directly to you? She said this way she's doing the legwork on, what was this book about? And a lot of times there's books that have already been challenged. The one that they dealt with, there was already resources available for when that happens to this book. So says that anyone that submits a request to reconsider an item, it goes to her and she sees if it meets the requirements for the material.
And
use,
then-
material selection.
And what happens, either it does meet the requirements and or it doesn't? Or do the both instances, do they go to the board?
They would both go to the board. So in the instance where they had a particular title challenged, she went through their material selection policy, was able to provide the reasoning for why that item was added to the collection, and sent it to the board as like, yes, this met the requirements of our selection policy, and then they were able to.
I would like to make it that you could decide that you could handle it and put us in the position that if it's something that you might have trouble with,
Okay.
then it's our problem, not yours. So we only.
You're
hear
the
about it
final ruling.
If you can take care of it and everybody's happy, I don't even want to know. And
There's-
also,
there's-
you lose your job over it.
I'm sorry, Sandy, go ahead.
There are two things, that podcast that I listened
Yeah.
to that was, intellectual, what is it called? Intellectual property.
Property,
or
yeah.
whatever, like office, and they're a wealth of information. And two things that they said really stuck with me, this was on NPR last week. One is that the Connecticut law, the legal definition of obscenity, none of these books meet that. So that we should have that policy in writing, you know,
An obscenity.
we should have a copy of the
Okay.
obscenity law.
Okay.
And the other thing that they said was that if you have an acquisition policy,
Yes. Yeah.
that makes a huge
We
difference.
do. I was actually going to say that next is I think we need to look at a material selection policy if we have one already, but tightening it up a little and expanding on what goes into it. I will reach out to other libraries and see what they're doing. I'll take a look. And the Cantons is very comprehensive, but I also want to reach out to the CLA because they're dealing with this frequently now. So I can try for May, but if not, I'll have something for
What I'm
June. to
thinking,
look
based on what
at.
Sandy's saying, is that if you had a copy of that policy and somebody presented the claim, that you give them that policy.
Right.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, it's available.
Right,
Yeah,
that's-
Explain to me, you
Yeah.
know,
Policies posted somewhere?
they are everything but the one. They're posted on the website. I will get that fixed tomorrow. We have internet a circulation policy which has the materials, the selection policy in that, but I think it needs to maybe be on its own rather than lumped in under there.
And then add in the
No,
obscenity
it's
law
not in there. Fails or pass.
state.
We can put all that, lump it in. So we do not have anything on here for a material selection policy. Yeah, I think we need it given what's going on right now. So I'll take a look at that.
So you're gonna
I'll work on
research
something.
and draft
Yeah.
a materials.
A material selection policy, yeah.
Now that said, from what Sandy had mentioned, as far as you making a
Mhm.
decision
Mhm.
on some books, like I'm okay with that as well. But then my question would be, what if you get pushback for whatever reason, and or would we need to say something along the lines of, you know, like Jody is the one who made the decision on this. There's your response, and then they can like appeal it, and then it goes to
No,
us.
well, that came, I
Something like
don't
that.
think that the decision should be mine. My
Right.
responsibility is to show you why we added this item.
Okay.
And then show you how we select materials based on relevance, based on, you know, what's popular in our collection. This met those requirements, et cetera, met these require. Now it's up to you to decide, okay, this met the requirements, it should stay, or it's,
So see, I think that's a better idea, because then if we don't get in the murkiness of, is this something that Jody can handle on her own? It's just anytime there's a challenge, she just gives us like a report, and then it goes to us no matter what.
right, which I think is absolutely what we should do.
And-
Because that way, right, you always have an answer, I pass it on to the board.
It's now in the board of directors.
Even though we don't, even though we can care less, we can handle it.
Right,
This way, if somebody goes after you, okay, the board is not looking at it, I'm on
Right.
it. I don't want you to have your job in the way.
no, yeah, thank you, I appreciate
We can lose,
that.
if I lose my board of directors position.
You're good with that?
Yeah, I'm
We
good with-
did-
yeah, I'm willing to take,
if you're interested, it was where we live on March 23rd. And it was really informative, just to hear
Yeah.
what resources are available, but also what's been going on around the state
Yeah.
and what libraries are dealing with.
So it's a
I don't
lot.
believe-
It's horrible.
I don't believe in bookkeeping.
Horrifying.
I just don't believe it.
There's a state, I believe it's Illinois, and they just passed a law that you can't ban a book. They won't.
Missouri did that, something.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I
I'm
just went to
surprised
Missouri,
that-
it's terrible. They're cutting library funding.
Oh, yes, no.
Because
it's-
somebody-
That happened in Michigan too. They
Yeah.
had to do like basically a GoFundMe for the library. Sarah and I did talk. She said right now, Canton doesn't have anything for somebody appeals the decision. That might be something that Connecticut State Library needs to, look into and advise
So
with
if
that.
there's
So
we're done, it goes someplace else, somebody
if
else.
we rule and say this book is staying in the collection and then somebody wants to appeal that decision, I don't know what the next step would be for that. So I'll see if there's guidance from the state library on that. I'll bring it up
Is
at the
there
next-
equivalent?
Well, I bet you they
equivalent
thought of
the
it already.
library?
They have
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
I'm sure they have,
Yeah,
yeah.
especially the climate right now, so.
Isn't-
we been challenged?
Something.
All right, we're not talking about it, but
The towns next to us
How
have.
about the?
Yeah,
how about the,
sounds like it.
Was it Texas?
Both.
Yes,
All of
yes,
that.
is the answer.
The guy who said, let's just eliminate school libraries.
Yes.
And
They're gonna- that was
so
an
I didn't
go
hear
away.
that, I didn't hear
Yeah.
That was.
And it's a good way to save money in the school budget.
We're gonna save money.
Yeah. That's gonna
By
be
cutting
what
books?
goes. By
No
cutting the
libraries.
library.
The library.
No
Libraries.
libraries in the school. If the kids want a book, they can go to the public library.
Well, some people are missing body parts. You know what part they're missing?
A mind unencumbered by the thought process.
It's
like,
I have to withhold my language for some of these people. They're having an important vote today, in Michigan.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, well, I want to know how that comes out.
Michigan or was it Wisconsin? I think.
Oh,
Wisconsin,
Yes.
Wisconsin, yeah, Wisconsin.
Yeah,
I
Chicago.
think it's gonna come out like Kansas.
Chicago and Wisconsin.
Kansas voted.
Oh, I thought it was because of the horrible storms that are going on out west.
Some of those troops.
Well, Kansas voted to process abortion, to allow it. The voters, they put it to the voters, and the voters
Yeah,
said,
November.
that's our problem. We're gonna-
Yeah.
Not the politicians.
Well, and the opposite, I think in Idaho, they're gonna start criminalizing people
Yes.
who cross the border to.
Right, only for minors.
Oh, that's what it
Yeah,
was.
right. They couldn't do it for adults.
Yeah. But even so.
Oh, I
it's
know,
just-
that's great.
Shall I move on?
Yeah.
Please
Okay,
do.
so the director's report, here we go. Budget report, you're 67% expended right now. We are in good shape overall. Materials were creeping high, so we are holding off on big spending and getting high interest items right now. However, I just got a check deposited into our account at Town Hall in the total of $1,527 from our Deliver It money. And I have to praise Caitlin because that number is almost double what we've been getting in previous years because she is hustling on pulling ILLs and filling them. Every day she's sending out, I don't even know, 3 crates worth of ILLs. And
wow.
the more we send out, the more money we get. So sharing is helping us get more money. So I want to use that money and put it into the materials budget because the books have gone up so much. It's just,
Yeah.
it's so much. The other thing, we also got more money today put in our account. I'm just trying to find the total. April wrote a grant for a summer reading grant for $1,175. She is going to be doing a quilting program. She has an author coming in. We have someone who's going to do quilt sewing, and it's going to be a community quilt project. It's going to,
That's awesome.
it's geared towards intergenerational
that's
programs, and we're hoping to have
Who's the
some.
grant? Who's the grant be from?
That is from LSTA, so it's the summer
there it
reading
is.
grant. And that just happened, I just got word on that today, so I have to give both of them credit for
Good for them.
getting us money.
L-
So she'll
STA.
start, LSTA, yep, she will start, it'll be spent for the end of the fiscal year. I wanna take a quick look at some of the numbers that might be jumping out in a scary way. So we have the phone, 89% has been spent already. I asked Elisa, why is this so high? She said last year when the budget was submitted, it looked like it was only good for about 10 months of the year for the phone, so there was some sort of error with how much was put in for that. So it's going to go over. She said it's okay. We have money.
The town probably has the same problem.
I don't think so. I think it was when the so. The other one, you'll see computer services is over. That's because the money that we owed from a few years ago for not matching the funds has come out. So
Oh, one thing I wanna point out, I came to the library one day last week. The parking lot was full in the front because the children's program is so popular, they have to meet in the community room
yes,
as opposed to the children's room.
yeah, she's doing a phenomenal job. Yesterday, when I did story time, I filled in for April, and they said how many were there. I said it was either between 30 or 300. There's so many.
And the kids leaving the library all.
They all, which is a good segue. Speaking of kids leaving the library and coming in, the statistics are looking wonderful. So we have, with online, our statistics from this month was 6,030 items, which is an increase of 37.7%. However, if you look at our cumulative circulation for the year, we are up almost 90%. So that's huge. Tumble Books, I don't know who you have been spreading the word to, but keep it up because we had over 600 book views. I think that's more than years combined for Tumble Books.
In 1 month?
In 1 month. In 1 month. It is just like every month it like doubles. So we don't know if someone just has it on and it's rolling. The good news is we do not get charged per item. If Tumble Books was like Hoopla, we'd have a situation on our hands, but we're
Wow.
the Hoopla and Overdrive have continued to go up. I'm seeing an increase in the users, about 10-ish every month of new and more users who are taking advantage of the services. Last month, April and I went to Lake Garda for their parent-teacher conference days, and we signed up 14 new library card users, which was wonderful. And Lake Garda also booked the community room for a photo shoot they were doing. It was a fundraiser. And so many people were coming in and out. We got 11 registrations just from people coming through. So everything looks so good. I'm so pleased with the work that everyone's been doing. So I can't say enough about them. And that's pretty much it for statistics. Upcoming news and events. We'll be celebrating National Library Week, the week of April 23rd. One of the things that we'll be doing is asking patrons to fill out like a comment card, what you love about the library, and we're going to use it as a display in the front windows and keep it up until summer reading starts. And our theme for summer reading is All Together Now, and we are coordinating with Parks and Rec, the fire department, the land trust, and other organizations throughout town to embrace our theme of collaboration.
The National Library Week is the last week of March or April?
April, sorry about that, I say March. And for the building report, I will be reaching out to the garden club to see if I can get some volunteers to help with the beds. So, and we're hoping to unveil that in the spring.
It's a club I've been trying to get to their meetings.
Yeah.
It's school, it's been screwed out.
They do some nice programs here in the evenings, usually like once a month. I think they've been having like a speaker come in, so.
I graduate and
Then I can do book club. There you go, yeah. That's growing too. I've got huge numbers for that again, so.
When you read you get the email with the library events for the month, and it's around and around and around.
Oh,
Yes.
I did post the job for our vacancy today.
I
It's,
saw
I got the
Yeah.
email.
children's, yes, yeah. I know they sent that out without asking me first. I was like, oh, I need the closing date on it. It's children's and teen assistant librarian. There will be an increase of hours from 19 to 23. And I put a closing date of 2.5 weeks. We'll see what we do.
for you. Thank you. So, hopefully the market's better because it's spring. Change is in the air for
There you
people,
go. Fingers
right?
crossed. Yeah, there it is.
There you go.
Hey,
See?
You never know.
that's it, huh?
So that's good. Do you have any questions for me?
Solved all our problems.
Oh, wonderful. And just an hour time. That's
What's our
impressive.
next meeting?
The next meeting is in May.
One thing on that job description though is it's almost but not quite to when people graduate, right? And I don't know if you usually get new graduates in that kind of, not really. Okay.
Like a college graduate would
Yeah.
be in May.
It would be in May, and
Yeah.
so if it's
it's
only
posted
open
now,
for
though.
2.5 weeks.
Oh.
You might
Yeah.
slightly miss that.
Yeah, I can always extend that too. I'll see
Good,
what I
if you-
get.
if
and
you don't
then,
get-
yeah, I'll keep the pool. But we did that before and kind of reopened it. Tweaked it a little, took out.
Okay.
It's a union job, so anytime I have to tweak it, it has to get reposted in the union. I know. So, but yeah,
I have 4 more
that's
classes.
a good point.
So 4
It's
Wednesdays.
just something you might wanna
Yeah.
consider if you're not getting the candidates yet.
Yes, true.
Oh, they're not graduated yet.
No.
but they-
Yeah, they're like 3 weeks, like now is
yeah,
crunch
that-
time for graduates.
And they're looking for jobs too, they'd
No,
be anxious to
hopefully.
find a job, you know. 8:10,
Sounds good to me.
So, I'm sorry, May.
8:10?
Oh,
I
I'm
second,
sorry.
second, first,
Second.
Second.
The date of the next meeting?
It's on May
It's May second.
Wait a second,
We do, okay, so Hooper.
7:00. I'll be here.
First and second.
I think for years, we used to be 8:00, then it was 7:30, and now it's 7.
It was 8:00.
It used to be 8:00.
Good,
but then
great. Let me know when you're ready for
8
6:30. How
o'clock,
about
8
that?
o'clock is 8 o'clock.
Right.
8:00 is, whew.
Yeah, that's how when it started, you get over it later.
Jody, I shared that document.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Ah,
It's hard.
It'll be warm when I go outside, huh?
I think it still will be.
Yeah.
Oh, were we on to
We were on YouTube, yeah, since we're not doing Zoom anymore because
We're on Zoom.
we had guests last time that
Oh, so we do
Oh,
just
so
a stream
that's
now?
why we
just a stream, but it'll be recorded and people can view it at any time. It'll be